Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday experience. As you see, we have someone new on the platform. This has kind of become the regular thing. This is Melissa Olson. She is joining us today on the keys. And claim what's yours. That is the talk today, and Reverend Deborah is going to be giving the meditation. We have a wonderful service for you. We're going to sing about how we are all welcome here. Are you ready? All right, let's do it. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. And I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. All souls are welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. And I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Come on, guys, put your hands up. My soul is welcome. We're small but mighty. My soul is welcome here. 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 And my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Right here.
I can really feel that this morning. Good morning, Reverend Deborah. Good to see you this morning, as we're all are welcome here. Not only Spiritual Life Center, but on the planet Earth and the universe. We're all welcome here.
We are, and good morning to you, Reverend James. And we greet you in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred, and in the warm and loving energy of this community Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and of course the beautiful temples of nature, because we know there is no space that God does not grace. And if you're with us for the very first time today, either watching us online or here in person, we especially want to welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident. We know that every one of us is here by divine appointment. And we're always just so excited to be together. And of course, we're really excited when you silence your electronic devices. And please refrain from flash photography during the service.
Well, let's take this moment that we've set aside to simply connect with this presence. Recognize that we live and move and have our being is something that is beyond words, but is more real than anything that we see in the outer. It is behind everything that we see. It is invisible, but so important. It is the energy and the love of God itself. It is from this presence that we all come from. And as a result, we are representations of all of its qualities. Qualities of love and peace and joy and wisdom and all that's good and perfect. We make those qualities the activity of our awareness through the thoughts we have, the words we speak, the actions that we take. And we come together simply to remind each other of this truth and to reinforce that with one another. And as more and more individuals recognize this truth and live from this truth, we anchor ever-expanding good, or also known as heaven, in our life and in our world. We're reminded that God needs us to be the ambassadors, the representations of this presence, because we are co-creators with this presence. And as co-creators, there is nothing that we cannot achieve, because with God, all things are possible. For this and so much more, we're grateful and thankful as we go forth, manifesting and spreading the all good. Amen. Well, we have a very important purpose here at Spiritual Life Center as reflected in our mission statement. Let's affirm that mission together. To transform lives, to make a positive difference in the world as we love, serve, and remember. And we carry out that mission and that purpose when we embody and live out these 5 unity or universal principles to the best of our ability. Again, let's affirm them together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action.
Well, we have a lot of action this week, a little bit subdued for Wednesday night. We are not going to have an actual program on Wednesday night, but we are doing the community meal. So join us for the community meal, and I will come. And if we want to sit around the table in there and have a spiritual discussion, I'm happy to do that. And then we will resume with programs the week after that. So community meal is at 6.
And then what's Reverend O's?
Right after. Okay, so and then we have the blessing of the animals, and that is going to be on September 30th at 1 p.m. But Reverend Donna Apodoni does that, and she explains it best.
Yes, just practice your lip reading. That's all. This is just an opportunity to make sure we're up to speed on our lip reading skill set.
Celebration that combined ancient traditions. It won't be at Spiritual Life Center, it'll be online. Hi, I'm Reverend Donna Apodoni. Do you know what time it is? It's time for the annual Blessing of the Animals, and I'll perform a celebration that combined ancient traditions. It won't be at Spiritual Life Center, it'll be online, because so many animals at one point or another in their lives don't want to travel. You know what else animals don't want to do? They don't want to sit still for very long. So it'll be a quick service. Don't be late. It'll start at 1 p.m. It'll be interfaith because animals tend not to follow a particular religion. It'll be all those things. Interfaith, on time, short, and on Zoom. We'll do a group prayer, and then I'll do individual blessings of the animals who come to visit on Zoom that day. 1 p.m. on Zoom, the blessing of the animals. See you there.
All righty. Thank you, Donna.
And that will be September 30th, and the link to the Zoom will be on the website, and of course, we'll announce it again.
And of course, the day before that, September the 29th, we have our gala, our annual gala. And it's the 25th anniversary gala. And it's going to be something extraordinary that you will never forget for the rest of your lives. Not only this life, but even your next life. You'll carry on that information into your consciousness. It's going to be that extraordinary. So you want to get your ticket. If you haven't done so, you can get your tickets right, after the service, I think, in the courtyard. At the hub or online. Just be there no matter what, because you don't want to miss it, because who knows how many lifetimes you'll have to come back before you actually have an experience like this again. So you don't want to miss it, just be here.
Okay, and I get to follow that with a Faith in Action participant sign up. So Faith in Action is our yearly group book, community book study when we're using the In the Flow of Life by Eric Butterworth. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, we all read the book together. There are small groups that you can join for weekly conversations. We have a nice little workbook. And then, of course, the Sunday talks follow whatever chapters we're in. And so you can sign up as a participant, go out to the hub, or actually out to the Faith in Action table, and you can see which groups are there, and there's only another week to sign up. Next Sunday is the last day to sign up, so hurry up and find your group, and they will help you there. You can also sign up online.
Well, there's a statement that says that for everything there is a season, that we go through seasons from one thing to the next, and Pat, I almost called you Reverend Pat Harvey. But you've been a minister to many of us here at the office for many years, has been a longtime member of Spiritual Life Center, a member of our board of trustees, on our staff, kind of like a jack of all trades for Spiritual Life Center. But Pat is moving to, where you say you're going?
San Jose.
San Jose, because it could be closer with her grandkids and other siblings.
No, just my daughter.
Just your daughter, okay, and her husband. And so she's going to be leaving Spiritual Life Center in an official capacity. But, as that song goes, you can check out, but you can never leave. So you'll still be part of us in consciousness and in spirit. But from the staff and I think even the board, we have a gift for you. I know it's good. I'm not quite certain what it is. Okay. But I know the bag is really nice in and of itself. So Grandma's Getaway Bag. Visit, love, spoil, then repeat. So your Grandma's Getaway Bag. Thank you so much, Pat, for the many years of your service and consciousness, because you kind of keep us level when things get kind of a little haywire. So it's always good to turn to Pat, and everything's going to be okay.
Well, you can always call me and...
Yeah, and we're going to give you a blessing if you'd like to join in with us. Pat, we love you. We bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold God's love as you. God bless you. Thank you.
I love you.
Yes, you get, and that too. It goes on and on and on. Okay, what else we got going on here?
So we just want to remind you that there are many activities that foster transformation here at Spiritual Life Center. So check out our weekly small groups and other offerings. The happenings at SLC are on the bulletin board in the courtyard. You can talk with the lovely ladies at the hub. And of course, anything you could possibly ever want to know about SLC is on our website.
Well, one of the purposes that we come to a community such as Spiritual Life Center is to make connections with like-minded individuals as we are on our path of growth, development, and unfoldment. And we go to workshops, seminars, galas, and things of that nature. But we don't have to wait till those things to happen to make a connection. We can make a connection right here, right now. So I just invite you to join, connect with a friend or someone you don't know or don't know in a manner that feels comfortable for you, and just say you are marvelous and glad you are here.
invite you to stay standing and join us in singing our group song, I Remember by Paula Mandela. 3, 4. Ooh, every day is an opportunity to walk the path through the heart, awake my soul, expand the light, and love, love, love it all. I remember in the stillness of the morning, through the chaos of the day, in my resting place reflecting, spirit at work, spirit at play. I remember every day is an opportunity to walk the path through the heart, awake my soul, expand the light, and love, love, love it all. Things great and small. I remember every day is an opportunity to walk the path through the heart, awake my soul, expand the light, and love, love, love it all. I remember every day, all day there's opportunity. Your turn. Every day, all day there's opportunity. Every day, all day I look beyond what I see. Every day, all day I look beyond what I see. Every day, all day I can make a choice. Every day, all day I can make a choice. Every day, all day search and find my voice. Every day, all day search and find my voice. Every day, all day I listen to my heart. Every day, all day I listen to my heart. Every day, all day step out and do my part. Every day, all day step out and do my part. Every day, all day I make a stand for peace. Every day, all day I make a stand for peace. Every day, all day I feel my joy increase. Every day, all day I feel my joy increase. Every day, all day I check my attitude. Every day, all day I check my attitude. Every day, all day expressing gratitude. Every day, all day expressing gratitude. Every day, all day I give up the fight. Every day, all day I give up the fight. Every day, all day I am shaping the light. Every day, all day I am shaping the light. Every day, all day reach for the highest height. Every day, all day reach for the highest heights. Every day, all day there's opportunity. Every day, all day there's opportunity. Every day, all day I remember. Every day, all day I remember. Every day, all day I remember. Every day, all day I remember.
Paula Mandela.
Yes, Paula, we love you. We're sending you good energy yet again. Please be seated.
And now, as we move into the quiet, contemplative part of our service, let's embody the words of our vision statement together. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions. Weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom, we cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet.
And now, in preparation for meditation, we invite you to sing this chant by Ricky Byers. All good, holy, holy. Please join us in singing. All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my All God, holy, all in my mind, all in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good. Holy, holy, all good, all good, all good. Holy, holy, all good, all good, all good. Holy, holy, all in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good. Holy, holy, all in my mind, all in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Let me know all is good. Holy,
As we settle into this time of quiet, breathe naturally and simply be aware of how you relax with each breath. Melt into your seat, relax your eyelids, and gently drift into the center of yourself. Float into the silence of your inner atmosphere, into your imagination. A soft, sparkling white mist enfolds you. And as you gaze into the mist, the sparkles slowly resolve into the shape of a temple. Engraved above the open door is one word: Imaginarium. As you enter the temple, you see 3 altars that form a triangle under the alabaster dome. One altar is made of ruby, one of emerald, and one of amethyst. Over the ruby altar hangs a sign that says, "Altar of your desires." And you step forward, lean in, and lay your hands on the cool ruby surface. As you make contact, the altar begins to glow, and you see in your mind's eye the earthly things that you desire and need. These are concrete things. You easily identify them and don't have to think about them very much. They're part of your reality. And so you take a breath and give thanks for the needs and desires that are fulfilled in your life. And now you turn and move to the emerald altar. And it says, "Altar of your dreams." And again, you lean in and place your palms on the altar, and the emerald green pulsates. And your mind is filled with the dreams that you foster, those that are bigger than your desires, the ones that go past your material needs, the dreams of your life. And they float freely in your mind, and you recognize the ones that have become manifest and acknowledge the ones that are in process. And now you allow yourself to merge and blend with your dreams. Express your gratitude for these dreams because you know that they give you something to reach for. They give you hope. And as you turn toward the amethyst altar, you read the sign and it says, "Crazy ideas." As you lay your palms on the altar, nothing happens. And then a voice whispers, "Imagine." You allow your mind to wander, amethyst light emanates from the altar and enters your being, filling you, energizing you. And that inner voice says, imagine. Imagine who you are. Imagine who you came here to be. Imagine beyond your desires and dreams. Imagine the whole of the universe into your mind, into your heart, into your soul. Imagine. And now you see your heart, mind, and soul immersed in this light, and they become one with the all. And in this moment, there is no you, there is only being. And in this oneness, you claim your good in the silence. Your mind, heart, and soul are open to the crazy ideas of the universe, and you are free to be. As you prepare to rise from your inner atmosphere, step back from the altar and bow to the red, the green, the amethyst in gratitude for their gifts. And as you return to your body, receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, imagination expands you. Imagination is how you co-create with the one source. Imagination is your holy link. Use it often. Use it to open yourself, and all the crazy ideas you never thought of will flood your being. And your good will be yours. Remember this, always.
You can spend your whole life building something from nothing. One storm can come and blow it all away. Build it anyway. You can chase a dream that seems so out of reach, and you know it might not ever come your way. Dream it anyway. God, He is great, but sometimes life ain't good. And when I pray, doesn't always turn out like I think it should. But I do it anyway. I do it anyway. This world's gone crazy, and it's hard to believe that tomorrow will be better than today. choose to walk away. Love them anyway. God, He is great, but sometimes life ain't good. When I pray, it doesn't always turn out like I think it should, but I do it anyway. Yeah, I do it You can pour your soul out singing a song you believe in, that tomorrow they'll forget you ever sang. Sing it anyway. Yeah, sing it anyway.
Thank you, Ann. Anyway. Woo, thank you so much. Oh, I never try to follow it. Not my goal. Just to show up. Anyway, I was remembering years ago I was going through a tough time. And I have to tell you, today I don't quite remember what it was. And this reminds me that oftentimes we always go through tough experiences, but they don't last. But when we're going through them, it seems like they're going to last forever. But at the time, I was going through a tough challenge, and I didn't know how it was going to work out. And I remember I was reading a story about one of my personal role models, Nelson Mandela. And reading that story helped me get through that experience, get through that tough patch. Anyway, the story is about the time that he was relegated to hard labor. And he was in a South African prison, and he was in prison, of course, as a result of his fight against apartheid and his efforts during that time, and he was in prison because of that. And he had been working really hard on his vision, his goals, and he thought his vision had come to an end, that the injustice that he was seeing was not going to be dealt with, and the good that he wanted for his country, it never was going to materialize. That came into his mind. But he said while he was sitting there in his cell, he had a realization. And he said, kind of like a stream of light that came landing on a parched field, there was a thought, an idea that came into his mind that the good that he was working for, it could still take place despite the circumstances. And so he nurtured that idea, he embodied that idea, and soon another thought arose, and he started to believe that the experience that he was going through was exactly what was necessary for his vision to happen. And maybe this is how it was supposed to look like. So he began to take hold of the idea that being in prison was the means to achieve the ends that he sought. And once he got into that frame of mind, the idea of writing letters occurred to him. And it's through his letter writing that the American media and the West media picked up his story, and a series of events took place that led to worldwide pressure for South Africa to end its apartheid, and he was released from prison and eventually was elected president of the very country that imprisoned him. And he began to engage in a forgiveness movement that was one of the most significant in contemporary history. He did it anyway. You know, Mandela, he didn't succumb to the facts of his situation. He opened his mind to the infinite supply of ideas that match his desired good and combined that with the feeling that it was already done in the mind of God. As a result, the answers to what he was seeking began to show up. And so that story reminds me, not only to help me get through, to see that my situation was nothing, because I had no problems. When I look at what he was going through, I ain't had no problems in comparison. But I realized that story revealed to us that he had everything he needed to carry out his purpose. It was there. He knew that there was a solution to the challenge that he faced. It already existed, and it existed in the form of an idea. And I believe these ideas are what I call the ideasphere, and these ideas are unlimited. So we're working with this theme throughout the month of living from the allness of God. Recognize we live and move and have our being in this infinite presence, this unseen force that's available to all of us all the time, and our job is to learn how to access these things for our life. And so when talking about supply, we're talking about an endless supply. That's something that is not material. Up to this point, we may have thought that all our good that we were seeking in our life was something, a thing that we reached out to, that we could grab onto. But we know that everything in the visible world is just a condensation of the supply of ideas from this ideasphere, yet often that is not what we believe. We believe our things are that we're looking for are some kind of material stuff. But the real supply, it's invisible. The real supply is infinite, but it's oh so real. I have where I live, I have a pomegranate tree. I like pomegranates. It's kind of hard to get to those things sometimes, But, you got to eat a lot of them to really kind of fill you up. But anyway, it's worth the effort. And it looks like, the pomegranate seems like, we may look at the pomegranates and say, oh, that's the supply. But the pomegranates represent the result or the effect of the real supply. And if we believe the pomegranates are our supply, we will think every time that we eat one or eat a bunch of them, that the supply of pomegranates will diminish. But those who know, those who understand that there's a wonderful life force moving through the tree, moving through the fruit. And every pomegranate season, which is coming now, because I looked outside and I saw, look like they're trying to come out right now. But every pomegranate season reproduces more pomegranates. I don't know if the pomegranates is the word, but it is now because I said it. But these pomegranates are made after its own image and likeness, so the more you eat, the more they grow. The more you pick, the more they grow. It's invisible, it's infinite. The pomegranate is just a visible manifestation bearing witness to the life essence moving through the pomegranate tree, but it's not the supply. So we're coming to the awareness that good we're seeking, the supply we're seeking, is the invisible flow. It is invisible. So we're talking about today the idea supply, claim what is yours. You know, there's a scriptural reference in Genesis that says, lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are standing, northward, southward, eastward, and westward. For all that you can see, you can have. You can claim that. But we can only have as much as we can think we can handle, that we think we're deserving of. And I think I shared a story about a guy who was in a spiritual community. He had come, from, a different tradition, and he showed up at, one of these New Thought folks' place that I was at the time, and then afterwards he said, I can't come back here because I don't feel bad like I do in other places that I go to. It was too much energy. It was too much. There's sometimes, I remember there was a man who everywhere that he went, there were maybe people who were joyous and very positive, and he was one of those complainers. And there was way too much joy and happiness happening around him, so he needed to go to places where he could complain without ceasing. So that's why he would move all around a lot till he found a comfortable place to complain, and he would leave those other places because the vibration was way too high for him. So we need to ask ourselves, can I really handle more energy? Can I really handle more of that flow through me? Can I really handle a higher octave, a greater frequency of the livingness of God moving through without sputtering and cracking and breaking down? It's football season now, so I'm checking out a few games, of course. So, of course, I'm following, Deion Sanders, who's the coach of Colorado, which I've known for a long time. He's from the South Florida area, and we used to call him Neon Deion. He has there's a bright energy, a bright light. And, sometimes people around him can't handle that much energy. But he said something very interesting. He said, don't let my confidence threaten your insecurity. Oh. If a coil cannot carry the energy that is being moved through it, it will short circuit, it will falter, it will break. So often we're praying for more, but not quite ready to be the carrier of more of the current of this infinite presence of God. Oftentimes we will begin to get more of ourselves to be revealed, and we may begin to break down. We pray for it to go away because it's too much. The God begins to come into our life through greater opportunities to express ourselves, and we might find ourselves running away from it because it's just too much. We're not ready for it. Sometimes, I don't know if you ever heard somebody walk up to somebody that kind of had that grumpy attitude, and, not that I'm judging in any way, shape, or form, just a little bit. And you may say, well, good morning. And they say, what's good about it? They can't handle the goodness that's trying to come through them. Or we may deflect the compliment may come to us, and, we'll say, oh, how magnificent that wonderful ensemble that you're wearing today. And we might say, oh, this old thing. We're not really to take the good that's coming to us all the time. I shared before that in Morocco, we give them prayer because I know they had an earthquake recently, and a lot of people died and they've had some challenges. But I know that, I remember someone from Morocco, that when you said something nice to them about something going on in their life, like, oh, you have a wonderful smile, and they wouldn't deflect it and say, oh, it's true, thank you. It's true, thank you. When somebody says something magnificent, you don't have to say it out loud. It may be too much for them to deal with that, but you just say in your own mind, oh, it's true, thank you. You have a wonderful dress on. Oh, it's true, thank you. Oh, you have just a magnificent present. Oh, it's true, thank you. We want to be able to take that in. And so when we talk about supply, claim what's yours, can we really handle it? Put another way, we want to ask, am I ready to handle a life of sacred, what I call blisscipline? I've used the word blisscipline. They talk about discipline in life, but blisscipline, what is blisscipline? Blisscipline is really the discipline of the heart. It's the discipline of the spirit, and allows us to carry on more bliss in our life. I have a friend of mine, we write a book, and we were trying to come up with a title, and they have we talk about good, better, best. She came with the title, Good, Better, Bliss. That's how we're moving. We want good, better to get to bliss in our life. That means we're going to break away from the commonplace of thoughts and the mundane thinking and mediocre way of viewing the world. It means we're developing a discipline that allows us to stay in that faith energy. Stay in that faith atmosphere regardless of the circumstance, regardless of the situation. We go forth anyway. To believe that's the mindset that Nelson Mandela eventually got to. His discipline became the form of his life, and it must become the form of our life. So what do we mean by that? When we are in any kind of training, whether it's being a good musician, like we have the great musicians that we have here every week, yes. Or someone's a magnificent athlete or a great writer, there's a particular form that they engage in that when maybe circumstances, are not right, or maybe they may hit a wrong note, they revert back to form. Something comes up unexpected, they go back to form. When an athlete is absolutely tired, it knows that what form they need to go back to. I was watching, I'm into the sports these days, track and field championships. And there's a U.S. sprinter that's a 100-meter runner named Sha'Carri Richardson. And so sometimes she says when she gets out of form or stumbles, she knows how to get back into form, how to move her arms, how to move her legs, how to lift her legs. Even when the flesh is not willing, they know how to go back to the form they've been working on over and over again. What we want to do in our life is to revert back to our spiritual form. So when we get off kilter, when we begin to get off path, when we begin to stumble, there's some discipline practices that can get us back into our spiritual form. The first is that we have to accept our good. I shared a little bit about that, a little bit better, deeper. When we think about the consciousness of acceptance, we're talking about making it a habit of opening up ourselves up to accept the infinite supply of good that God has already given us, and we want to make sure that we are affirming that I'm worthy of this good. I'm worthy of this good. I was in high school, and I had a wonderful teacher, Mr. Greenberg. He was my English teacher, and he had invited some of his students to his apartment as we were filling out college applications, and he lived in a very modest apartment building, but he had a one room that had this magnificent decor, and I guess he had traveled different places and brought it into that room and provided some of the furnishings and paintings and so forth. And of course, I had one classmate, I don't know if you ever have a friend like this, they have no filter, that whatever comes up comes out, Anyway, and he asked him, how was you able to get all this stuff in this room that looks so expensive and you just making a little bit of money as a teacher? And he said, and he very patiently, it took time, but there's a special place. I spend time in my apartment, and I allow only the most beautiful things to come in it. And it reflects how I feel about me and how I treat myself. There's a statement that says you train others, you train yourself, the world, the universe, by how you treat yourself. And to the degree you treat yourself magnificently, then you have enrolled the entire universe in your training program on how you should be treated. You must begin to accept on a deep level, on a profound level, that not only do you deserve the best, but you are the best that God has to offer. God never made any junk. So you begin to talk to yourself nicely. You begin to encourage yourself. You begin to love yourself. You want to be your own best cheerleader more than anybody else. Because it's impossible, I believe, to accept all the infinite good, all the supply of goodness this grand universe has for us unless we begin to treat ourselves that way. And if we're not training the universe to respond to our deep and our pure intention of how we are treating ourselves, then we will not be able to attract and retain the greatness that is coming to us. So we don't get what we ask for. I think we get in life who we are. We begin to attract that. We want to be that. We want to have that vibe of being our highest self, and the universe will come rushing to us in ways we never imagined. I was checking out a young lady who's on YouTube. She's very successful on it. And at first she said she worked many, many years to try to be successful at that. But she got to the point where she realized that she didn't have to try to strive to be successful if she wanted to really be successful at what she was doing. She said that once she started acting as if she had already arrived, what she was going to look like, the equipment that she was going to buy, how she was going to dress, the topics she was going to speak on, who the listeners are going to be, Even though none of that had manifested yet, she saw that she needed to be that right now, to vibrate there, and she began to affirm that truth for herself. And of course, she became very successful. So we want to say the truth about ourselves right here and now, no matter what the circumstances are. We wanted to declare that I am the best that God has to offer as me, not sometime in the future, but right now. Because God created me an unrepeatable, magnificent spiritual phenomenon that has the fullness of God right where I am. Therefore, it is my duty, it is my responsibility, it is my charge, it is my mandate to fully accept this power, this presence, this love, this beauty, and let it shine anyway. Anyway. And when we do that, when we feel that vibe, we put ourselves in a position to accept the infinite supply of good that the Spirit of the living God for us. So the first discipline is the consciousness of acceptance and that you're worthy of it. And then the second discipline practice to help us claim this infinite supply that has been given to us by our birthright is to modify our language. How do we speak? We want to make sure that our language is in harmony with what we really want. You know, I'm around with a friend of mine who was kind of an advanced spiritual person many years ago. I was on this path early, and we were looking at something, and I said, oh, you know, I could never afford that. That's too much. And he said, you know, when you speak like that, particularly when you do so regularly over and over and over again, it becomes a mindset. And you begin to block all the ideas of how it could possibly happen, how you could possibly afford it, how it could come into your life in ways you never imagined, and you're blocking the supply of possibilities. Instead, he said, remind yourself that, you know, just say, hey, let me see how the universe is going to handle this. You know, it's a totally different way. It begins to open up to possibilities. And once you do that, you can begin to claim your supply in ways you never imagined because you're in tune with this field of possibility. So you say, let me see how the universe is going to handle this. See, the universe, this presence of good, is handling everything, every seeming problem with grace, with ease, with dignity. It's nothing but elegance there. It's nothing but radiant good there. I mean, when you think about it, this universe, this intelligence, whatever we call God, is spitting out galaxies and cosmos and multidimensional universes, and it can easily handle whatever financial challenge that you have. It's magnificent. It's invisible supply without end. So we want to say, let me see how the universe is going to handle this. This is God's idea. Let God do it. I'm just going to let God do it through me. Now, we got to work along the way now. No, let's not forget about it. We have to be co-creators, but we got to know it's already done. And Spirit is say, you do your part. And Spirit provides the increase. And then the third discipline is to keep us in spiritual form. And I had a whole bunch of them I was going to talk about, but we would have been here all day, you know, going through all the different practices. But, you know, just pick one and then begin to go deep into it, and you begin to get into that mold. But another one is just to begin to have a consciousness of appreciation. Yes. Appreciation, thanksgiving for everything that we already have. And we don't name whatever we have as little. So often we hear people say, oh, my little old this, my little old that, my little old job, my little old paycheck. No, we don't want to speak like that. We need to move and discipline ourselves so that we're full of appreciation of what we do have and have great thanksgiving of what we have. Realizing that whatever we appreciate, whatever we give attention to with appreciation, appreciates. It becomes more in our life, and we want to appreciate that, and we'll attract more of that supply. I was thinking about, you know, my son, when he's in the 9th grade, they had a back-to-school night, and, you know, we went to see one of his teachers. And the teacher, I believe, was teaching geometry, and she was pointing out, she realizes that, you know, some of the students believe that they're just not good at math or geometry, and she went on to explain to the parents how she's able to get her students to feel okay with their ability in math, regardless of what their skill level might be. And she noted that everyone is good at something. Some students are good at math and geometry. Others are good at music. Others are good at English. Others are good at art and all of that. And she used the analogy that for each subject, it's kind of like a rubber band in our brain, in our consciousness. And some of the rubber bands are large for the areas that we're good at. And then some of the rubber bands are real tiny for areas that we believe that we're not good at. But she went on to explain that when a student is praised and acknowledged in a subject area, that rubber band in that area begins to expand. And when a student is put down or criticized for not doing well in a subject area, that rubber band begins to contract. And the teacher let the parents know that, her job is not to only praise students for what they do well, but to also find positive things in those areas that they believe they don't do well, that they're not gifted in. One little thing. In this case, it might be math. But she says when she does this, it changes the student's attitude about math from a negative perception to a positive one. And what they viewed as a weakness is now seen from a new point of view, a new perception. And she said inevitably students who think they're not good at math, they improve their math skills. And I believe it's a wonderful demonstration of the power of appreciation. Whenever we appreciate what we do have, no matter what little we think it is, it begins to expand and it opens up the supply line for the good to show up even more in our life. The good we are claiming comes from an invisible flow. This is fundamental to our teachings. It's invisible. That's why there's so much encouragement around prayer, around meditation, to activate that faculty within our soul that allows us to see a whole different dimension of reality. It's right there waiting to become whatever we need it to become, for us to live beyond our wildest imaginings. When we clearly see this, we modify our language, as I said. We claim our good. We no longer say it's impossible. We get rid of that sometimes dreadful disease that maybe occasionally we have, and I've had in my life. The disease is called my funds are low. No, we let go of that. We drop that disease and say, this is God's idea. Let God do it. It's going to come through me. We just want to claim it. We know it's already done. This is the good news. Our job is to open up and be receptive and to believe. Then we realize we're able to hold more power. And like a coil, like a wire that can hold a lot of electricity, we begin to hold more and more of the inspired thought of God. More and more of the inspired thought of this infinite presence. And our attention becomes more and more focused, more appreciative of the presence of God. Our genius capacity begins to increase. And we know what a genius is. Their attention is not scattered by the distractions of the day or the talk of lack or limitation or impossibility thinking. We accept that there is an invisible, infinite supply in which all things are possible. And we accept that truth. We realize we can hold more energy, and we discover that we can accomplish much not by doing necessarily, or trying to get caught up in the drama or the temporary appearances of separation or limitation. We get in tune with the allness of God so that we become that channel for this presence that's waiting for us to be it. So we're not wasting time on worry, not worrying or putting our energy on fear. We're staying inspired by the presence and the power and the love of God in which we live, we move, and we have our being. We're here to be masters of God's infinite supply. Let's claim that good now. Just affirm with me, all that God is, I am.
All that God is, I am.
I'm ready to receive my good.
I'm ready to receive my good.
I claim my good now.
I claim my good now.
It is done. Thank you. All righty then. Now we just got to do it, just be it. That's the thing, we get excited here sometimes, but, we got to just go and just be it when we walk out the door. Because when we walk out the door, we're going to have all the world coming up with all this different, perspectives. And we got to get back. Get back. Anyway, next week, Reverend Deborah is going to be talking about what do you really want. That's an important part of this whole process, to get access to the allness of God. So Deborah's going to be here, and meditation is going to be with Reverend Janae, and music by Carol Manson. Larry will be back, and Snow Light Connection. So we know it's going to be a good experience once again. If you're looking for prayer immediately after the service, you got a challenge that you're going through or growing through, our chaplains are available to pray with you. They're wearing the white stoles. They'll be in the courtyard. And like I always say, you don't have to wait until there's an emergency or a challenge. You can just pray for the good that's in your life and just say, I want more of it. Whatever you pray for and appreciate comes to you in even greater abundance. And if anyone's here for the very first time online, we have online cards you can fill out. We'll keep you informed of what's going on. And if anyone's here for the first time today in person, just raise your hand. Any first-timers here this morning? Okay, yeah. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your presence.
Our pianist is here.
Oh, yes, our Melissa here for the first time. Thank you. We'll give you a card, too. You can fill out the card, and you can stay in touch with what's happening at Spiritual Life Center. And if you wear the ribbon, we'll give you a special Spiritual Life Center greeting. And know that we affirm you, we appreciate you, and support you as you continue on your path of spiritual growth, development, and unfoldment. At this time, for those who are online, we invite you to support Spiritual Life Center with your gift or your love offering. And you can do so by texting SLC Love to 44321. That's SLC Love to 44321. Or you can go to our website, slcworld.org, click the Donate tab, and give in other ways, including by mail. And if you are online watching us at any time, like us, subscribe, comment, share, because it makes it more available to more and more people. And the more and more people that kind of get these teachings, the more they begin to transform. And the more they transform, the more our world begins to change. Because that's what we're about. We're transforming the very planet in which we live. We may think we have this one little corner of the universe, but you never know. One idea can make all the difference in the world coming through the right person. So at this time, for those who wish to give here today or have given online or by mail, just know that you're in the flow. But if you have an offering today, we just invite you to symbolically raise it to the heavens, which is ever-expanding good. And know that you are in that flow of infinite supply that says whatever you do in many, many different ways. And so with that awareness, let's affirm our offertory blessing today. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
1, 2, 3. Ooh, I claim a blessing. In the morning when I get out of bed, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Before I even lift my head, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. This is how I start my day, knowing good is on the way. I am claiming perfect health, love and laughter, friends and well. In the morning when I get out of bed, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Before I even lift my head, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. With conviction undeterred, and the power of my spoken word, take my life and redefine, break the shackles of my mind. In the morning when I get out of bed, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing. Before I even lift my head, I claim a blessing. Oh, I claim a blessing. I claim a blessing.
Claim a blessing.
Discipline.
Yeah, discipline. Yes. Claim our blessings. We start for those which are in their offerings, whether they have been online or here in person or have sent through automatic giving. They're providing a place for those who wish to grow, develop, unfold spiritually. And know that Spiritual Life Center is one of such place, and we're part of a movement of consciousness, a movement of transformation, a movement of change to move us from where we are to where we can be when we are at our highest and our best. So we thank those who have blessed us today. We also bless those who have left their prayers in the prayer box today or throughout the week. And we recognize that we all have challenges and rough patches in life or situations that we don't quite know how to deal with. And in those moments, we begin to let go and let God, and rest assured there's a presence for us that is soothing us, guiding us, uplifting us through any seeming challenge that we're going through. We may call it God, we may call it the Atman, we may call it the Buddhic field, the universe, the divinity, whatever we call it. It has the answer even before we know what a prayer request is. We're reminded that before they call, I've already answered you, says this presence. And so our job is to lift ourselves to be one with the answer and see how it will show up in ways we never imagined. We may call it a miracle. We may call it an answer that we never thought of or imagined, but we know that the answer is already there, and we simply release and let go and rest in this answer. So we know that the prayer has already been answered. For all those who left their prayers, for all of our situations in life, because this is the nature of God. It only knows divine and perfect spiritual solutions, and so we open up ourselves to receive it because we deserve it. For this and so much more, we're grateful and thankful as we go forth, remembering this presence, making the activity of our thoughts, words, and actions, and see how it radiates in our life and in our world. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen. So with that awareness, let's deepen this consciousness of claiming the good that Spirit has for us by speaking aloud our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And that's the truth. Let's sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we, let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let it begin with me. Let this be the moment now. Let this be the moment. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Oh, let it begin with me.
Peace and blessings. Have a great day. Claim you're good and hang around for some postlude music and enjoy.